Hey everyone, and welcome to Corey's Cast. Today I have Mom back in the studio with me for podcasting.
Yes.
It's been a minute since she's been on the show. She doesn't like me anymore, I guess. I don't know. She just decides to leave.
No. We've had some amazing guests, so I just stay behind the scenes and get to learn.
Yeah, she gets to be production.
Exactly.
That's good stuff.
Exactly.
And we're going to do a recap, kind of talking about the things that we saw and experienced at the 2024 Houston International Quilt Festival.
And market. Yeah, both.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun the last couple of weeks doing that, so we thought we would document our ideas and our finds and everything for future use.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was nice to have the opportunity to go down there, number one, because not everybody can do that travel.
Right.
We're lucky that we live, 4.5 hours from Houston, so we were able to, take the little truck down there.
Oh, yeah, the little truck. Why, you slept the whole way?
I did not sleep the whole way, but I did sleep a little bit.
She slept the whole way, folks.
I did not. I was entertainment for a little bit of the way.
She was a passenger princess. That's what she was. I continued to drive.
I'm not a fan of I used to love to drive. Like, I drove everywhere. But then the last few years, I just am not a fan of driving. I would rather just be the passenger.
That's lovely. Even
Especially
though
at night
she
and in
sold
the rain
me on no. She sold me on the idea of going down there both times for market and festival.
Yeah.
We had to come home in between.
Yeah, we did.
And she sold me on the idea that she would drive half the time. None of that happened.
That is very true, but I'm not quite sure if I really had the opportunity.
No, ma'am.
But I didn't ask.
She never once walked towards the driver's door. She went straight to the passenger door every time. Climbed in before I could even get in the car, had her blanket, neck pillow, and said, "I'm ready." That's what she said.
Oh, but you're young. You're young.
Okay,
so it's
here we go.
I don't know. I have a hard time, especially when we came back from market. It was dark already, and I don't do well driving in the dark.
Yeah.
I don't remember. And it wasn't raining from market, but on festival on the way back, it was raining.
It rained most of the way home.
Yeah, on the way home.
Which is never fun, especially with construction on 45.
Yeah. So anytime that you have to drive in rain or construction, it's just not fun.
No.
I just got past the point that I just like to be the passenger. And I'm just blessed to have you as the driver. So thank you.
Thank you so much for stroking
You're
my
welcome.
ego. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
For those that are listening or watching that don't know what the Houston International Quilt Market or Festival is, it is kind of, in my opinion, the Olympics of quilting.
That's a good way to talk about it.
It is located in Houston, Texas at the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown. And it spans a total of about a week and a half, but there is a break in between, but total time is about a week and a half. It starts with market. And what market is where all of the big vendors and suppliers for all of the threads and notions, battings, fabrics are all there to showcase new products or products that they currently have in their catalog to get the people, the buyers that are there, like we were technically classified as a buyer.
Correct.
Because we didn't have a booth. So to get the buyers interested in what is coming out in spring and summer of 2025 and to showcase all of the good stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of your stores will have gone to some type of market in the past, whether it was Houston or whether it was another market, H&H Americas or things like that in the past.
Do they still do spring market?
They don't do spring market
they don't
anymore.
do spring
but
market
back in the day,
anymore,
or spring market, it used to be in Salt Lake a lot.
Yeah.
So they might have gone to these in the past, and that's where they would go and talk to their the industry experts, the manufacturers, let's say like Superior Threads, Northcott, A&E, Philtech, just all those different suppliers are there for the stores to go talk to, see what's new, what's coming, go ahead and put their orders in, so that way it comes into the store. So it's kind of a place for stores to shop.
Yes.
In a broad scheme of things, so everything's in one place.
And that's
so
really,
that's kind of what
nice
it was.
Because you're not having to worry about having a rep come out to you or looking through a catalog online. It's all there in person. You can touch it. You can look at it. You can smell it if you want to. The best press, some of it has scents.
Yeah,
things like that.
That's true.
Candles, stuff like
candles,
that.
You're right.
And so you can really get a hands-on look at what's going on. So market spans for 3 days.
Yeah, so it's
3
usually
days.
a Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah,
right.
So Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So it was nice to walk around, meet with all the vendors, and we actually got a chance to do some videoing. And if you've been following us on social media, you've already seen some of those videos launch and post. So Corey got to sit down with some of the experts of some of the fields.
Correct,
And really have good conversations. The one from Superior was great with their educator, Mickey. So everything we talk about will already be on our YouTube or be coming. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And then also the one with Karen from Orifil, the information that I was the one behind the scenes through all the videos to the show, just listening to these experts talk about their product and all the knowledge they have. I was like, oh, this is so good to get out there to the quilting community. Because not everybody knows this stuff. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I didn't know half of this stuff.
No, there were things when I was sitting with both Karen and Mickey for the 2 videos that have launched. There were other ones we'll get to. There's the things about their threads, both in the Superior line and the Orifil line, that I was like, really? I didn't know that's what it was about. And that makes more sense on why you've manufactured it, put all this money into it, and sell it. Yeah. That's why it's so wonderful. I also had a chance to sit down with Presley from why'd I say that? From Philtech.
You're feeling it.
And we talked all things Glide and their different creator collections for their candles, because they do actually manufacture candles at Philtech.
Oh, those things smell so good.
So cool. They have a really cool technology on this called open wick technology, and it's a wick that they patented and manufactured. Yeah. And it controls the flame. It's really, really cool. And I have
some video footage on that.
Too many of their candles.
And you do have too many of their candles.
Too many of their candles. But I would just sit down with all of those experts and chat with them was incredible, from not only for my learning and from my perspective, but to get that education out to the customer. Because sometimes instead of fielding through a website or going through different blogs or different newsletters, you can kind of get all of it in one gulp on a video, and it's much easier to digest that way.
Well, and it's awesome. What's nice is on the videos you can hit pause, right? Just like right now, you could hit pause if you wanted. But don't. Yeah. But you can hit pause and kind of make those notes, jot those things down, and then go back and rewatch it as well, and get really all that information to know what you really need for your project coming up.
Right.
What you've used in the past, why maybe it reacted a certain way. So great content. I love that we're able to do that for our customers and our followers, is that we're able to go out and grab this content from these experts, and that way bring it back to you, because it helps us. So we're giving out the correct knowledge, because we always want to make sure that we're giving out the correct knowledge, but then also helps the end user.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So at Market, we were there for a total of 2 days.
Yes.
We didn't stay for Monday, so we were there Saturday and Sunday. And it was a really cool experience to be there as a buyer.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to Market as a buyer. I've been there as a vendor, but I've never been as a buyer. It was a really cool experience, actually.
Correct. Yeah. So like if you've ever been to Market and you were the one vending and working, kudos to you. I did it for over 20 years. And you don't get a chance to walk around and be a buyer.
Right.
You're constantly in your booth working. But to be able to walk around and just kind of be a buyer, take your time. Oh my gosh, not just looking down the one aisle that's to the bathroom and back. You guys know if you've been vendors at these shows.
You dart to the bathroom
and back. That's about the only aisle, and through the food and back. Those are the aisles that you got to see. And sometimes maybe in between you would try to see something, but you really don't, because you got to get back to the booth, right? But as a buyer, you get to sit there and take your time, schedule appointments, meet up with the buyers, and just the vendors, and then just relax and enjoy the experience. Yeah. So that was nice. That was nice to be able to walk around and do those things.
So talk to us about your first sample spree.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So let me give some context on what sample spree is. So what sample spree is at 7:00.
It was at 7:00. Yeah.
7:00 on.
It was that Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah. So the night before it opens. So the night before Market opens.
Because Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yes. So the night before Market opens, which was Friday, at 7:00, you can sign up to go on what you call sample spree. And you go into a room, more or less, a large room.
And these are businesses.
And these are all businesses. And you can sign up as that business buyer that you're signed up for Market. And you can go into sample spree. And what that is you have these vendors that are showcasing their products or new products. And they're all there at kind of one point, and you can buy immediately and take with you. It's kind of a cash and carry situation.
Yeah.
So you're buying all of these different, they're called samples, but they're
full on.
Like I got fabric sets, fat quarter sets and stuff like that you can purchase. And you wait in this very long line to get in. And it is a mad rush. And I've been before, so I was prepared. Mom had not been to Sample Spree before. So please enlighten us on your experience.
Yeah, so I mean, as many times as I've been at market and worked, I was always tired that night from setting up a booth, and so I'm like, I don't need to go to that. I would see the line, but to me, it was just like, it's okay. And then Corey would tell me about it. The people the next day would tell me about how much fun they had, and I was like, I'll do it one day. So this time we had some time because we were just buyers, so I got to enjoy it more. So we get there, and I'm like, we can probably get there like at 6:45 just to prep to walk in, and Corey and Tracy were like, no. People will be already in line. So they were already sitting in line like at 4.
Earlier than that.
Probably earlier than that, but definitely at 4 for sure.
Yeah.
To get into a 7 o'clock Sample Spree. So we get there, I think, 6:15.
Yeah, something like that. 6:15.
And we walked by it a few times. We're like, we'll get in the line later. We have other things we wanted to do. We got some video footage that we'll drop in so you can kind of see it. So we get our little badge, our little wristlet thing, get in line, and then sit and just talk, and it gets bigger and bigger, and more people show up. And I'm like, all these people are going in those doors?
Yep.
And I'm like,
because it's not like a gate that opens.
No,
it's a regular walking door, and there's 4 of them that open, 4 or 5 that open.
I think, they have 4 or 5.
But it's still just a normal door, and all of us have to corral into those doors to get in.
So when the time comes, the doors open, we start corralling in.
Mad rush.
It was a mad rush to these vendors and to grab stuff. And you would have thought it was Black Friday for shoppers back in the day when you didn't shop online. You actually showed up at the store for Black Friday.
No question, yeah. And a lot of people normally rush to the Moda booth. That's the first place that they rush. And what I noticed for the first time, because normally I don't really pay a ton of attention to my surroundings at Sample Spree because I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is I recognized a lot of stores, like a lot of buyers, where they're purchasing all of this fabric and samples and patterns and stuff like that to then put back in their suitcases to fly it home because it's probably cheaper than buying it and shipping it back.
Yeah.
So you saw teams of people in there purchasing things for their store, which was incredible. I also saw someone that they went straight back to their hotel room and put everything that they got on Sample Spree onto their website so then they could start selling it, which was a cool thing to watch, actually.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really fun. So it was extremely crowded. You had to pack your patience, but you also had to be okay with like being in a tight surrounding. So I kind of stood back and did the videoing of it. I let Corey get in and get into the crowd. I tried to get into the crowd a little bit to look at some of the stuff, and I'm like, nothing's that important.
Elbows out, ladies and gentlemen. Elbows out. I am going through.
It was actually nice, though. Everybody was pleasant. I really didn't see anybody like screaming. No, it was. I mean,
I didn't see anybody screaming, but people do. No. Dive in between folks.
Well, you do that.
You see fabric fat quarters flying back to those team members. I mean, they're chunking them over their heads. It's a thing.
It was fun to watch, anyway.
It was cool
from sitting back and and just videotaping, and then while everybody was over there hounding over the motor booth, I'm like, I'm going to go check out some of the other suppliers and got to see their booths and some of the things that they were offering that were brand new that they were coming to market with.
Right.
So it was, kind of cool. So besides, being really, really busy, and it didn't take long, like 30 minutes into it, and all of a sudden it started becoming crickets. They were there, they were to shop, and the tables were emptying out fast.
And Sample Spree goes for 2 hours from 7 to 9. And like she said, probably by about 7:30, 7:45.
It was,
It was almost like
But there wasn't much left to look at. So, you're like, okay, I guess everything, we're on our way. That was fast.
Pro tip, if you are a buyer and you're going to market for the first time and you would like to take advantage of Sample Spree 1, you do have to sign up for it when you are signing up to be a buyer.
You have to pay for it. You have to pay to go in.
You have to pay to go into Sample Spree. Bring cash.
Yeah.
Your transactions go a lot faster.
Yeah.
They do, majority of the vendors, if not all of them.
They all take credit cards.
But it was a completely different line. Like, your line was much longer if you were using a credit card or a debit card, whereas cash, it's basically throw it and go.
Yeah, and exact cash is cash is even better.
Yeah, small bills. Like, 20s and 10s, don't bring hundreds.
Yeah.
It was faster that way, but you could grab, exactly what you needed and move on to the next vendor instead of waiting in line.
Yeah, to get the credit card done.
To get your credit card done.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I got to see some of the new products that were coming out, some of the new fabrics that were coming out, some of the things that they were going to be introducing. So it was kind of cool. And then just to see some of the vendors up close and personal before you saw them on the the hall, right?
Right.
Just to say hi and stuff. So that was fun. No, I enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then overall at market, we found a lot of really cool things that we'll be bringing to the catalog here at Linda's.
Yes, we did.
So you'll start to see those things drop over the course of the next few weeks at time of filming. If you're watching this a year from now, they've probably already dropped.
Exactly.
But those things are coming, and we found so many really, really cool things, some game-changing things for quilting as well. So I can't give you any hints yet, but you'll see when those videos drop.
Yeah, so again, make sure you're following and subscribing.
Yes.
But no, lots of fun new products that are out there that are coming to market that we were able to test, see, get samples of, and we can't wait to get them all in the store and be able to put them online and be able to do videos on them.
Yeah.
Right, so that's, again, another thing about fun to market. So if you have a store and you're watching us and you've ever thought about, hey, should I go to market and to see everything up close and personal instead of trying to shop online? Because maybe they are in an area that they don't have people that will come to them.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it at least once to go experience it.
I would highly recommend at least one time.
And then the other things that they offer at market, too, I mean, we're just talking about what we saw, but they offer tons and tons of classes.
Yeah.
So when you go register we're just still talking market, when you register as a business on there, then you have the opportunity to select classes that you want to take from professionals in the industry that will teach you anything from marketing to...
Right, called Schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse.
It's called Schoolhouse. And there's so many different... There was email marketing classes, there were there were AI classes, there was website
everything.
classes, there were fabric classes, there were sewing classes, machine classes.
Maintenance classes. Anything you can think of in the Schoolhouse that they have available for those businesses, right?
Yeah.
To take in between those hours from Friday all the way through...
I think
most of it was...
Thursday,
does it?
I think it does.
Well, I'm not sure.
It starts earlier.
But I mean, all the different classes that you have available to you as well. So it's not just going and just shopping. You get a lot of good professional information from the industries
Those classes you can sign up for.
that you can do. Yeah. So when market's over on Monday, they continue having classes, but this is kind of when more of your consumer comes in.
Correct.
So the break between market and festival is you're off on Tuesday, which most people are resetting their booths up. Festival booths are coming in, market booths are going down. And then you have Wednesday, they're doing the final touches on their booth. Some of the smaller stores are now coming in to set up their booths. To sell to the consumer. But in between that, they're still offering classes. Yeah. So that's when the consumers usually will come in. Businesses, too, will still stay there, and they'll start taking those classes, like how to piece, how to do paint stuff. I mean, anything you can think of, there's a class there for it.
And just to give you an idea of how the George R. Brown Convention Center is set up, the bottom floor one is the main exhibit halls. There's 5 halls, and the quilt show takes up 3 of those 5. The second floor is kind of walk-through space. There's peephole things that you can look through into the exhibit hall, which is really cool, especially when things are setting up and transitioning and you can't get into the hall. It's fun to watch it.
Yeah.
Or if there's another convention going on there, it's fun to look at. Like while we were there, Collecticon was there.
Yeah.
So we got to look through those little peephole things and see all the different collectors that were there. It was fun. And then the third level is where all of the classes are. So that's where all the classrooms are set.
Exactly. So there's lots of awesome training there too. I mean, I was going through some of the classes that they were offering, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I didn't think about that. I mean, there's just always something there, right? So it's not just the shopping aspect. So anyway, so if you do take your classes ahead of time and you're there, then they usually let you come early in on Wednesday. I think it was still this way this year. I could be wrong, but where you go in, you have early access at 5. Preview night, yeah. You get in there, you get to start shopping, talking to the vendors, things like that. Then the public comes in at 7.
Too,
I think so, yeah.
I think you can see the quilts on preview night, too.
I don't know about that, actually.
Don't hold us to it.
Yeah, don't hold us to it. Sometimes there's been a couple years that still was closed off.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know about that one for sure. But then you got preview night, then it finishes up, and then it opens up the next day at 10. And then from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you've got a whole festival show of vendors and stores and quilts. Oh my goodness, quilts galore.
Yeah.
And this is the more crowded part of it. Market's really not as crowded on the inside. Festival, they come to shop and see stuff, so it is crowded.
Festival is open to the general public. You pay for your ticket. You can do it online and show your little QR code, or you can purchase still out the door. And it is open to the general public, and it gets very busy. Yeah. One really cool thing that we really haven't discussed yet was I think we saw a shift this year at market and at festival. It seemed like the quilt show was getting back to pre-pandemic days. People were really out there. The camaraderie was great. The energy was amazing.
Yeah.
And the aisles were filled up like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
We went last year, and it was much smaller.
Yeah.
And we were hoping that something would change because the show is incredible. And so to see this resurgence of all of these people coming back in and enjoying the quilts and the vendors and all coming together to take classes, supporting the local economy for quilting, it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, he's so correct. So we went last year for one day because, I mean, since, with COVID, it was closed that
Yeah, I wonder
year.
who drove.
And we went down there, and it just didn't feel the same. And it went from 5 halls to 3 halls. So we noticed that at front, we're like, oh, and then it was just like, okay, there's not as many quilts, there's not as many vendors. It's just trying to come back. But this year we were pleasantly surprised that it seemed to be it's a resurgence happening. There, people were happy and talking and buying, and we saw so many people with bags and. Of purchasing and just really enjoying the experience of what the quilt festival offers, right? And then over there in the quilts, I mean, let's talk quilts. Oh my goodness, those quilts were amazing. We had the opportunity to get in early on 2 of the days.
Right, yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out to Bob at Quilt Sync for helping make that happen for us.
Yeah.
He got us some special passes that we were allowed to go into the quilts early and really videotape the intricate, beautiful detail of all of the quilts and especially the award-winning quilts. We spent a lot of time on that video editing it to get it right. So if you haven't watched that video, it is on our YouTube channel. It's the winners walkthrough, and it takes you through the best of show, all the top category winners, and then all of the category winners.
Exactly. And we'll make sure to link it on the top where it can just take you to that video. There's a way to do that.
Yeah.
But the winners, the different quilts that were there were just, well, it's always amazing. To me, I always thought of Houston as an art show as well. When you think quilt show and you've gone to some of your local quilt shows, you see some beautiful quilts, some beautiful piecing. But for some reason, Houston brings out the art. Like there's so much art. And you'll see that when you watch these videos. And it's just like, is that really a quilt, not a painting? Right? And those type of things. And it just brings out amazing stuff. And and then having the ability to walk through. You got the really good close-ups of them, and then going through and walking through some of the exhibits and getting tons of video footage. That is actually, most of it's on our YouTube now, but we still have more to edit. I mean, there's a lot of editing going on for you guys, so you can see these videos.
A lot of editing.
But Corey, tell us about some of you got the really good close-ups of the award-winning ones. By the time I got there were so many people around them. I didn't get the really close-up, but I watched them from the video for the most part.
Yeah.
Tell us about the best of show, because I still, when I watch it on the video, I still can't concept it because I didn't see it in person up close.
Yeah, so the best of show was actually a miniature quilt, and we haven't seen that in quite some time. For a best of show standpoint, it was 18 by 17, and it was highly, highly thread painted. There was definitely some fabric pieces, some applique pieces that were put into it, but it was really quilted on top of that. Like the border around it, the frame was all thread. Like it was stunning.
And you can't tell that by the picture.
No, you can't tell.
Because even when you told me that, and then because I never got close enough, because by the time I would get over there, it would be so crowded around it, and it was so tiny, and they kept you so far from it, so you didn't touch it, right?
Yep.
And I was watching the video back, and even your close-ups, I was like, that just looks like there's a frame on there. I still can't see the thread. But, you're there and you're telling me it's thread. And I'm like, that is amazing.
It's absolutely stunning. And in the pictures that we show on the video, there were 4 pictures right in front of the quilt to give you a closer up image of it since we were distanced from it. The second picture shows you what the back of the quilt looks like. And it uses this, I'm assuming it's like a satin fabric, but it had a sheen to it. And you could see that there were like the faces of cats were quilted onto it. You can't see them from the front because of the way the applique was done on the front of it. So that back picture is so beautiful. So that's why I made sure I included that in the video of them. But the camera does not do it justice.
Yeah.
It was incredible to see, especially that small of a quilt.
So tell us about a couple more of them that you really liked and enjoyed of the award-winning ones that you got really close up. Because being that you are a long arm quilter and you do a lot of custom quilting, you've seen, you can appreciate like the close-up work on some of these show quilts.
Yeah, I can appreciate all of the work that goes into show quilting. Kudos to everyone that submitted a quilt to the Houston Quilt Show. That is an extremely big deal to have your quilt hanging in the Olympics of quilting.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you won anything or not, it's a major accomplishment for it to be hanging
Kudos for sure.
Because it's incredible to get there to do that. I actually have my Quilt Essential book that I got at the show. So these were a couple of dollars.
Yeah, I think they were like $2.
I think they were $2 at the time. They might change in the future, so don't hold them to the price. But it was really cool to have that full book of every single thing that was going on in the quilt show. So anytime you go to Houston, make sure you buy one of these so you always have it. But what it does is it talks about the all the vendors and everything, but it also showcases all of the award-winning quilts that were there. So one of my favorite ones that was there was actually called the name of this is funny, The Naughty Corner. Okay. This one was by Tania Tantai. I probably should have pronounced that before we went on camera. But I loved the color and the movement of this. A lot of thread painting was done in this, and it really got some of those really intricate details of color. I loved the splash of color, the movement in it as well. So that one won the Mastery Award for Innovative Artistry.
Awesome.
So that was a really cool one. Another cool one, another Master Award for Contemporary Artistry was called The Arrival.
Yeah.
And this one was done by Kestrel. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Kestrel. So sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But it was this beautiful, looked like almost fairy tale land.
Yeah, I was going to say fantasy tale
land.
line.
It had this beautiful castle and this hot air balloon blimp thing in the back and this forest and the cloud. It was so beautiful. And
I did get to see the close-up of that when I was
well.
watching the video because you were able to get a little bit closer to that one. And I was like, the stitching. And
oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like...
all of
they
those,
all were amazing.
They were all incredible.
Yeah.
Bold colors is what I'm drawn to, so
Yeah.
that's why these like stick out to me. But every quilt there was incredible.
Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure you watch that video so you can see all of the award winners and all the close-ups to them for sure.
There was another one that I really liked just from a modern perspective because I do like a lot of modern things. I liked the Electric Snails number 2.
That was cool.
A lot of ombre in the fabric, so it really had your eye looking around and seeing what was going on. Quilting on it was impeccable. They were all incredible.
Yeah,
I could probably say every single one of these were my favorite. But again, those bold color ones are ones that really
like we were saying, I mean, when you watch the video, you'll see that they're pictures, they're art, they're telling a story, right? And that's the one thing I really enjoy about quilts in general is that a lot of the quilts you can sit back and it's like if you're at a museum looking at the art, you can see sometimes you can see the story behind the photo, behind the artist. Why did they paint it that way? What's the story that goes along with it? And then you can read about it. But sometimes you can almost guess it. And it's the same with the quilts at a show. There's a story. Like how did that why was that developed, right?
Yeah.
Where did that pattern come from? What made them come up with that? And generally, it'll tell you on their paper that's printed out. They'll tell you how they came up with their idea.
You always want to, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You always want to read that paper that goes right next to the quilt. Every quilt show, there's going to be some type of something right next to it.
Yeah.
Except for the State Fair. I don't think they just
have
a bunch of them. But majority of the quilt shows will have the paper, and it has a description from the artist, the quilter, about, or the piecer, about how the quilt came together. And it's really interesting to listen to their process. One of the really cool things that I liked about us being able to get in there early was it felt more like a museum to me, where I could sit there for a minute and really digest what was happening in the quilt and take it in. Which was an amazing experience.
Yeah, so each of them had a story, and that was really cool about that. Yeah. So whenever you're going to a quilt show and you really want to look at the quilts and read the story, understand the quilt, I definitely recommend going as early as you can possibly go and go straight to quilts. So that way you can really, especially at a show like this that gets really crowded really fast,
either
go as early as you can
or super late. Either one. I think they start to fan out because normally people are taking your advice and going straight to the quilts.
Yeah.
If you start with vendors first, if you want to, or and then go to quilts after that, you might be tired, so maybe just show up for the quilts and then do the vendors the next day. But doing those a little later in the day as well.
You can do, definitely.
Either one.
But right in the middle, it is a little bit harder to actually sit and enjoy all of them and get to read and see the story story behind them. So, you know, I saw some really cool ones walking around filming just all of the contest people, the applicants that had entered in for the contest. I mean, the piecing is amazing. Like I just remember this one; it keeps catching my eye. And there was this quilt, and it's on the video that shows all of the contest winners or contest what do you call entries is what we call it, and we'll have the link up there. But it had little people, like little, and every little person. You didn't see that one. Oh, every little person was dressed differently.
Oh, wow.
All the work that took into piecing. And these people are like this tiny, these ladies. And this is a large queen-size quilt.
Golly.
And they're all different colors with different looks. And they all have, it's like little faces. And I was like, the work that went into that was
incredible.
Intense.
Wow.
But I mean, there was a lot of them like that, right? They had the detail that was just kind of so intense. You just don't even realize how much work goes into those things.
Right.
So again, kudos if you got your quilt into the show, number one, and letting us experience and look at them. And those are just the ones that entered them in for, you know, to see if they could win.
For competition. Yeah.
There were so many quilts entered in just for display.
Correct. Yeah. Houston also offers a exhibit portion of their quilt. These are now, so if we're breaking this down for you, a competition perspective, at least this year, was on the blue carpet, and they're primarily towards the front of the show, and that's going to be all those competition entries, and then you'll also see if they won, there'll be ribbons associated with it. On the outer corners of the show are the exhibit quilts, so people that enter into an exhibit, not necessarily if they want to go into competition, but more or less to have it featured in that portion of that exhibit.
Exactly.
And then they normally, I think they've always done this, have a theme for the quilt, and when you first walk in the main door, that is the first thing you see in the middle of the show.
Yeah, and that was for this year was the 50th anniversary themed quilts, and there's a video on that one as well. And this year it was all patriotic themed.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
So pretty, right? You walk in and you just see all these red, white, and blue quilts hanging. And the carousel, like it hangs around here, and then they hang on the inside. But then there's also all the miniatures up right below it. But then on the right next to it on the outskirts, there was even more.
Stuff,
and so just they always have that theme. So there's just so many cool. I mean, you could almost spend 2 days in the quilts if you wanted to look at them and read everything about them.
No question. No question.
But I mean, for sure, a day.
Yeah.
You know, it's been, you know, schedule that day. That was, I don't know, I really loved the artistry in the quilts.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite. I remember the first time I ever went to the Houston show to work. And I can't remember, I think it was Dana with me. And she was like, you got to go look at the quilts. I'm like, I'm just so tired. She's like, you have to go over there and look at the quilts.
Right.
You just don't, it's not the same.
Right.
So then, you know, I took some time and I walked over there, and I didn't get to look long because we were always so busy, but I walked over and I went, OMG.
Yeah.
Like, this is next level. And I just remember falling in love with so many of the quilts that were hanging, and that's kind of when I fell in love with the quilting aspect of it. I came in from an industry that wasn't quilting when I started working here in 2001, and just kind of did my day-to-day job, right? But then going to this show and seeing the artistry behind it, because I love art, that's when I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now every year that we're there, I have to at least walk through and look at them.
Yeah.
So to have this year the ability to walk in earlier and film on them and get close up to these, close and personal with the artist as well, it's just, you know, through the quilt, not the person in general.
Right.
That was just special.
And then, in all honesty and all bluntness, we don't record the quilts for our doing.
Yeah.
Because we're there to see them. We're doing them. We do it for y'all, for those that can't make it. Or for those that were only able to be there for a day, and there were so many crowds that you couldn't see up close to some of them.
Correct.
So we put in hours and hours and hours of work to make sure that you have that ability to watch those as well. So thank you so much for watching it, sharing it with your friends, and taking part of that experience with us is incredible. So outside of the quilts in Festival, you also have where all of the local shops are, more of the mom and pop style shops, the vendors. You have machine manufacturers.
Yep.
And that's a really cool experience as well. Like we said, the aisles were packed, and it was a lot of fun to be there. But this year we did something that we've never done before, and we did a social media campaign.
We did.
Where if you found us in the aisles, we were wearing our Linda shirts that you've seen on our show before. We're not wearing them today, but that you've seen on our show before. We had 3 different colors, black, blue, and pink, and we alternated throughout the days. But if you found us in the aisle and we were wearing our shirt, you stopped, you took a picture with us, and you posted it on your social media, you got entered into a contest, which we'll be drawing those winners Friday. And then you got an instant $5 off gift card.
Like a gift card,
for our website for your next purchase.
For taking the time to even do that with us, right?
Right. So that was absolutely incredible.
We had so much fun.
That was so much fun. And so many of you out there, thank you so much for stopping us and talking to us and sharing your stories about how much like you love our videos and you love our customer service and you love our business. It's really nice to hear those things because sometimes we feel like we only hear the negatives, which, I mean, we don't get a ton of complaints, but those stick a little harder with you. And for those that did stop us or some that were afraid to stop us, but we could still hear you and see you pointing and talking, it was very humbling. It was wonderful to be a part of that with you and to be a part of that experience and to listen to your story and how we've kind of gotten you over the edge of free motion quilting or computerized quilting or crocheting or piecing or anything, or just being there in your studio with you was super duper fun, and we're extremely grateful to be a part of your life to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to second that. I mean, I think you summed it all up, but just I loved meeting our customer base. You know, them coming up to us and just talking to us and being excited. And for us to be excited to be in their space, they were excited to be in our space, and just the stories, right? And then I don't think we really knew how many people we touched because we're here, we're filming, we're working hard, getting stuff out there to you guys, hoping that we're giving you the content that you want, right? Coming up with stuff in our head like, oh, would they like this? Would they like this? So to hear that that you are enjoying the videos and that you want us to keep doing them and keep them coming really did. We were very grateful for that. So thank you if you stopped us. Thank you it's okay if you didn't stop us. We saw you. But we were very excited to do that, and I can't wait to do that next year.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
To be a part of that process with everybody and just to meet everybody and all of those. Oh my gosh, it's the Linda's team, and that was super cute. And
even
one
our
lady,
team that was there
screamed and squealed, and might have fainted. That was fun to be a part of that. Even we were walking over because we don't stay right next to the convention center. We get our morning walk in, and as we were walking over, we met a customer from Brazil.
Oh yeah,
that stopped us in the Marriott as we were walking through that hotel. Into the convention center. She stopped us and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd be able to meet you." And it was just really cool how the internet has its good days and its bad days. But the good part of it was that it brings us all together for those that can't be in McKinney, Texas.
Yeah, no matter where you are, you have that opportunity to interact with us, and we interact with you, and we love it. Yeah, we were walking through there to avoid the rain, and it was like, okay, let's cut through any hotel we can to get to the convention center. And that just happened to be one that has a walkway. And to run into her out of the blue, it was amazing. So thank you for stopping us and telling us your story and taking a picture with us. We love that.
That was fun.
And just meeting people from all over. Yeah. I mean, we can't express that enough. That was so fun.
Yeah, because you were everyone that we're meeting and those that were afraid to meet us, but because they didn't want to stop us or bother us. I heard that a lot. I didn't want to bother them, and you're never bothering us at all. But thank you for being a part of the Linda's family and our online presence, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this.
No, we wouldn't.
Mom and I are lucky enough that we can have our little studio, and this is where we do things. We have an amazing team at the store now that gets to run all those operations, and we just really get to focus on hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And so you're the reason we get to do that. So thank you. And you're never a bother. It's always fun to stop us and talk to us. We love to hear your story.
Yeah.
Love to hear where you started, how we've helped you get over things, or how we've just been a friend to talk to.
And it was also nice for you and for those that stopped Summer and Chantelli and Joseph and Early. They took the Saturday afternoon and Sunday shift for us in the shirts because we got pretty tired.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They talked about how many people they met and talked to, and they really did enjoy hanging out at the show too. So just Linda's in general, we appreciate our customers. We really do. That keeps us going.
That keeps us
going.
So before we close out today's episode, Mom, were there any highlight products at Festival that you liked, that you found that you had to have? We might not carry them, and that's okay, but was there something that you found like, I had to have this, so I got it?
Well, I mean, there were so many things that I would really have wanted, right? Like, the new iron and some iron things that we saw that we'll be coming out with, Some of the stuff you go like, wow, I didn't know that was even possible, right? The Ironmatic iron pads that we're going to be carrying. Those were so cool. The new Oliso, did I say that right?
Oliso, yes, you got it right. She's been
mini,
saying Oliso for the past 6 weeks.
You didn't have to call me out. But the little small mini one that they have now, and those are so cool. And then it was super, it's so funny. They have this little, I can't even think of what it's called, this little sticky thing that we decided to carry. And I was like, that was amazing. You just see so many things that are so cool. Yeah. Rulers, templates, just the stuff. I love looking for the stuff that is somebody's created, right? I love that small business that took the chance and then created some type of product to help the industry and to branch a small business out into that industry. And I love seeing those new things that are whether they're at market or whether they're at festival. Yeah. Those are the things that really draw my eye. Yeah. But I will have to say, as I was leaving, I was so tired and just happened to walk by a place that had pillows.
Oh, gosh. Yes, she did. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that pillow looks so comfortable. And I'm like touching it, and I'm really picky on pillows.
Y'all have no
And I was
idea.
just touching it and stuff, and I was like, I like this pillow. And
it was a nice pillow.
Yeah, and he's like, really, Mom? Like, we're at a quilt show.
We're at a quilt show, and you're going to leave with a pillow? All right.
I'm like, I already have my other quilting stuff, and so I was like, yeah, this is just calling my name. Yeah. So definitely had the pillow, and so far so good.
Yeah, there you go.
But overall, I mean, I really liked everything. But I think my favorite part of the show will always be the quilts. Yeah. Seeing the time and effort that, whether it's our customer or somebody's customer, the artistry that goes into those quilts is amazing. The talent. Yeah. And I think we all have that talent, one form or fashion, right? And it's just how we want to express it into the fabric. Yeah. And into the clothes, too. I've seen so many different clothes. I didn't see a lot at this show. I've seen them in the past. But the clothes that are made, we all have so many talents to share. So make sure you share your talent. Don't think that I can't do it or it's not good enough or nobody would like it. There's going to be people out there that love it. Yeah. And it's just the fact that, you tried and you did it. And I know it's amazing. And so I just love that because there were so many different techniques there. Yeah. So, but what about you? I mean, I could probably go on and on, but what are some projects?
How do I match that energy? Wow. I would say probably some of my favorite products. I'm currently working on a pixel quilt right now. So what a pixel quilt is little tiny squares that put together to make an image. And the quilt that I'm working on has 7,200 inch and a half squares. So I've already cut those out. Holler at my stripology ruler. That made it so much easier. But I found this fusing panel stuff from 10 Sisters. That's right. I don't know if that's right. But it has this little grid on them where I can place those squares and then I can fuse it down and then I can flip it and sew it so I don't have to sew every individual square. So I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
So I got some of that so I could finally finish that
So
quilt
we'll need
up.
a video on that one.
Yeah, I definitely will because it's really cool. I also went to the Connecting Threads booth, which is also Superior. And they have this new fabric. I think we're going to be carrying this, right?
We are,
I think so, yeah.
We don't have it yet, but we'll be getting it.
Yeah, so it has like a solid, like a dry brush look base, like a paintbrush look, and that has metallic speckles on top of it. So I got that set of a few sets
to start piecing stuff.
To start piecing some things that you'll see on future videos. And then just overall, just kind of everything. Chantelli showed me one thing that she found. Auntie, sorry, showed me one thing that she found. It was like a 12-year-old invented it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the scissor holder and stylus holder, everything that fits on your machine. It like sticks onto your machine to hold all your stuff. It was really cool.
Nice. We'll have to look at that.
So there were so many. I mean, there's so many amazing things. But like Mom said, those small businesses that took a chance on themselves. Yeah. And went to festival with these products or went to market with these products. Was really, really incredible to watch and find and see and get out there.
I love all the different inventions out there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Well, Mom, thanks for being here on the podcast with me and walking through our adventures at Market and Festival.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
I loved it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed just listening to us talk about, our adventures. And we already have some videos up there from the show. We'll have more videos popping up. So Make sure you're watching them, subscribing, sharing, and that you enjoy them. We hope you enjoy them.
Definitely. And thank you all so much for watching or listening to Corey's Cast here at Linda's. Wherever you are watching, please make sure you're subscribed, followed, and liking. Wherever you're listening, make sure you are subscribed to that podcast playlist so you can get updates anytime new Corey's Cast episodes drop. And from the studio, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.